Probably should have made that. I do recall. If you, public comment, so, yeah, she said it was a new part.
No, we'll come down and talk to the lady.
Oh, it's right there. Okay.
I want to be able to visit today.
I'll take that during the work session at the end.
I think there.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. I don't like many that's it like this.
They said they spread it on.
So you know today.
Say quarter four. No big.
Barely someday.
Hey, yeah. Okay, right.
Good.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call this work session of the Margaret City Council to order. Today is Monday, May 18th, time 6 p.m., and we're here at Margaret City Hall. So this work session is for discussion only. It's not intended to conduct formal business and take formal votes. And so any official action will take place during our regular council meeting, which will be following this work session. And so before we begin tonight's work session, I just want to start off by saying that I want to address the quorum for both the council and everyone in attendance. This is a public meeting, and the public has every right to attend, observe, participate during the portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed. But a public meeting is still an official meeting of the city and of Margaret. And it's not a rally, it's not a courtroom, and it's not a place for shouting down speakers, interrupting council business, directing people, or creating disorder. So everyone in the room is expected to conduct themselves with some basic respect. That applies to council, city employees, applicants, residents, members of the public, and anyone else present tonight. So the council members will be recognized before speaking. Members of the public will be recognized at the appropriate times. Side conversations, outbursts, personal attacks, profanity, intimidations, repeated interruptions, and refusal to follow directions from the chair will not be allowed. I also want to be clear that the city employees and the applicants are not being mistreated. They're not political props, and they should be not be subject to personal attacks from the dais or from the audience. And we can disagree, we can debate, and we can ask hard questions, but we're going to do it in an orderly and fair, respectful way. So for tonight's meeting, the sergeant at arms is authorized to assist in maintaining order. If anyone disrupts the meeting, refuses to comply with direction, and interferes with the business of the city, or creates a safety concern, the sergeant at arms is authorized to remove that person from the meeting at his discretion. So my preference is no one has to be removed, but everyone here should be able to sit through the city council meeting without chaos, intimidation, and disorder. So, but we're going to conduct the city's business tonight, and we're going to do it in a way that respects the office, the public, and the employees who serve the city. With that said, we're going to roll forward with the work session agenda. So, clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilperson Chapman?
Here.
Councilperson Bell? Present. Councilperson Matthews?
Here.
Councilperson Davis?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
Here.
Mayor Tulley?
Here. All right. First thing on the work session agenda tonight is cloud permit inspection software. So we're going to do something a little bit orthodox. I'm going to move a presentation over to the screen, and we're going to have Brad Lipster from cloud permit kind of walk us through the software and what it entails. So, Brad, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Absolutely, that sounds great. Well, everyone, it's nice to meet you. My name is Brad Lipster, and I work on behalf of Cloud Permit. Essentially, what Cloud Permit is a cloud-based one-stop shop for all community development processes. So we have an online software for building permitting, planning and zoning, code enforcement, licensing, as well as public works. And so what I'll dive into today is just a high-level overview of what the system is, what it will look like for y'all. But essentially what we're going for is just streamlining your department. So increasing collaboration, increasing visibility for others to see. One thing is that we have an unlimited administrative license, meaning that anyone who would like to have access to the system within the staff of the city can have access, and they're able to see other information from other departments. Matt, I will say, so the audio was a little bit in and out, so if any questions pop up, Matt, if you wouldn't mind chatting in the chat box just so I can read them clearly and answer all of your questions clearly. But if there are no questions, I can go ahead and get started.
Anybody have anything? All right, let's go.
All right. So one thing that we have here at Cloud Permit is an online public portal for public users to submit online. This is how you submit a building permit application, a code enforcement complaint. And so I ran this specifically for Margaret, so we can put in your town logo, background image of what the town looks like. You can brand that specifically to to it. You would like it to look like so it doesn't feel like your citizens are leaving your website in order to go apply for a building. So one thing that the residents can do is that whenever someone wants to create an account, they just go over to register. Just like Amazon or Netflix, just requires an email and password that they're able to log in. When someone logs in for the first time, they will get a 5-minute training video showing them how to navigate the system, how to apply for a building permit, how to submit a code complaint, and then so forth. So we'll go ahead and log in here. When I log in, this is what our dashboard looks like. So one thing to note here is that we have everything in one place. So I'll start up with task requests. This is assigned specifically to the user of an individual department. So say like for review requests, due payments, anything like that, that will show up specifically for the user that's designated to that task. They'll be able to click that purple button right here, log in, or jump into that workspace and complete the work and so forth. But as I scroll down here, we have everything in one place for y'all. So this is where it increases collaboration across departments. So we have property database management, inspections and work tasks, complaints, reviewing any code complaints or work orders that have been submitted, licenses to view all the active or expired licenses within the town. We can do any kind of licenses, so alcohol, occupational, business licensing, contractor registration, any planning or city council meetings that are coming up. You can schedule those in there, create agendas, and then also attach specific applications to those city council meetings. And then finally, this workspaces tab. And this is a real game changer. I like to call this as like an online digital filing cabinet. So all of your projects across all these community development departments, building permits, contractor registrations, land use for planning and zoning permits, licenses, code enforcement, public works, and so forth. This is all located in one place. So we can also view this not only from a list view where I can see the building permit that was just submitted, the address that it's tied to, the type of permit, the applicant, the owner, when it was last updated, what stage the permit is in, and finally unique code tied to it. So not only do you have this list view, and you can actually sort down to see any specific kind of information, but we integrate directly with your county's GIS. So if I pull up Margaret Alabama right here, just an example of a town, I can see all of the active or old projects located under a specific parcel. If I click that specific parcel, it'll have all the projects associated with it. So we've got a code enforcement case, a driveway permit, a zoning permit. So this will increase accessibility, visibility across all departments with a system like this. Last part about the dashboard is if you have any citizens that maybe they want to submit a building permit but they need to speak Spanish, they can actually translate this entire system into Spanish and complete the permitting process just like that. So they can apply for a building permit in Spanish. You can actually switch that back into English and do the entire building permitting process in English and Spanish without having to translate. We also have an AI chatbot, and the big thing about us is that we are constantly updating and improving the system. We like to look at this as an extremely modern system and on the cutting edge of all technology. So we just gave all of our clients an AI chatbot that they can use. So if an applicant ever has a question about how do I apply for a building permit, they can ask the chatbot that question, show them exactly how to apply for it. Alrighty, so that's what the dashboard looks like from the back end, but I wanted to show you this from the front end. So this is a public map. Again, we can integrate directly with your county's GIS, so you'll be able to see all this data center right here, and this is great for the public because they can actually view any code enforcement complaints, building permits, planning approvals that are all going on within the town. They can click on a specific property and see the permit applications and code enforcement cases. So say like for graffiti, they can see that right there. But the really big thing about this public map is that this is how you create code complaints and also work orders. So if I click create complaint, code enforcement, traffic needs, like the description, so just needs to mow lawn, and they can actually take out their phone and upload a picture of the lawn themselves. So that's it in there, and then click submit, and bam, that's how you submit a code complaint with a cloud permit. That'll go directly to the code enforcement officer, so they can scroll down to code complaints and see all of the complaints listed right here in map view and also this view.
Right. If you don't mind, I'll hop in. So essentially, what we have here is software that does multiple things for the city. One, it helps compile like permits, applications, inspectors doing their day-to-day job. But the part Brad just showed, I think, is one of the most important parts, where it's like the citizens, can actually go into the app or go into the site and submit your issues. I got a pothole. My neighbor's not cutting his grass. My neighbor's building a back porch. Does he have a permit? Like, there's so many things that this app can do to empower you guys to inform the city. Like right now, I mean, we've got the whole phone and pencil and paper process, but there's nothing better than to be able to actually submit your complaint with the evidence and a picture, and then also get an email when your complaint has been resolved, and so that you know that the issue's been resolved. Because I mean, 9 times out of 10, you call in, there's no backwards communication. There's no follow up with you all. So it's while it's powerful for the city, it's also powerful for the citizens. And as Brad said, it ties into our county GIS system. So like every house, every parcel is all tied in there, and you can look at what's going on. And so it really will modernize a lot of our systems, and we take a lot of the processes that are currently on paper and translate them into digital assets. Sorry, Brad. Back to you.
Absolutely, Matt. And one thing I wanted to show you just for the citizens, so you have your own dashboard as well. So this is a dashboard from the citizen view. So I can see all of my active license, all my building permits. This is all located in one place for me. This is accessible from a laptop, mobile phone, iPad. You can pull up all this information from your couch and essentially go from there. When I open up a permit, I have my workspace here, and I can actually see what stage my permit is in without having to contact City Hall. So all this information is readily accessible to you. We also have a messaging tool where you can message the city directly that is tied specifically to that workspace. So really it increases the user experience for citizens and also staff as well.
And
Matt, that's essentially everything I had for you. Unless there's any questions that I can answer.
I've got one follow-up, and then I'll check the council. So basically, keep me honest here, it also allows the inspectors, if they're out in the field and they run into a contractor, they can sign up for the business license on the spot, pay on the spot, and they can either show them a QR code or give them a link, and they can take care of the business license right there. Am I correct?
You're correct. So if an inspector runs into a contractor out in the field, they can with their iPad apply for a license or a registration, and they can navigate the system together and complete that process.
So another big win. Make sure that all the subcontractors are applying for the business permit. Sorry, anyone have any questions, concerns? All right. Brad, we don't have any questions, so I'll be following up here soon. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks so much, Matt.
All right.
Have a great night.
You too. All right, bye. We'll work on audio in the future, but all right. All right, moving right along. The next topic is the fire apparatus. This is kind of an open topic and got a lot of options. And so, Brett or Josh, would you like to address the current situation with the fire apparatus?
Mayor, Council, we have two functioning operational fire engines right now. We have our newest one, which is 72. We also have one of our older ones. It's a big pumper, 751. I sent an email to you guys that I can outline 53, 54, and the blue one that's by the water plant. All those are out of service. I have gotten rough estimates on the repairs that will be needed for that. I proposed a plan, what I think would be best for the city of the department. That would be to fix the 2004, that would be 753, and look for opportunities to sell 753 and the blue engine as is. I don't think that repairing them and selling them is going to be worth the money we put into them. Also, 754 has proven to be a good pumper, just with some engine pumps right now. So that's what I proposed in the email that I sent you guys.
I believe you mentioned that there was one, you found a new engine somewhere as well that looked promising.
We talked to a couple people. So Fouts was the original company that Captain Davis did a lot of work getting an engine customized and spec out for our needs and for our purposes. That opportunity, I believe we might can get back, but it's a couple months old. Also, there's an engine that NAFCO has, who we bought the newest engine from. They have one available that will also be suitable for our city. I think the issue is this one that's not custom made for us. It is one off the lot. That may seem like not a big deal, but when you have specific needs in territory, the road systems like ours, tight spaces like ours, it does matter that you get customized. I would like to revisit the Fouts conversation for a new one and see if Captain Davis can recontact them and kind of review what's going on with that. I worry that since the original conversation took place, that prices may increase a little bit just because the time does that. But there are options out there for one that we suit for us.
Council have any questions, concerns? All right. Thank you, Brett. All right. Next on the agenda are several of our consent agenda items. These are all pretty standard processes, and so first on the consent agenda is approval from the minutes from the March 16th meeting. Does anybody have any questions, concerns about the minutes from the March 16th council meeting that were in your packet? Okay, if there are no concerns, we'll move down to increasing the park pavilion rental fee. So the park and Recs board basically would like to start renting that out more regularly, and they want to increase the fee. Right now, I believe it's a $30 fee with no it gets returned if it's cleaned up afterwards. But obviously, with the new pavilion, there's a lot more space. It should be more desirable, and so they're going to increase that fee by at least to $100, and then propose moving it to $130, with 30 of it being refundable if the pavilion is cleaned after. You have any concerns, questions, or thoughts about that?
You said, with that being in my district, you were talking about increasing the fee to $100, and we got cars parking lots for the pavilion.
Underneath it?
Yes.
Okay. We'll have the police monitor that situation.
And also, it's a team that plays on Sundays, I believe it is. Are they paying, are these residents, or where's this team from?
So right now, I don't believe we have a reserve price to reserve the field. It's just first come serve. Whoever calls up and reserves the field. So I'll look into that and see what I can find.
Okay, thank you.
If y'all like to consider a fee for the field, we can consider that. David's in the process of getting quotes on fixing the fence at the field, so moving the backstop up and moving the fence inside of the walking track. I saw 2 different quotes. He's working to get a finalized number, but that'll make it a lot safer for people who use the field and not run and fall on a asphalt track inside the baseball field. All right. Any other questions or concerns? All right. Moving right along, we've got the hazard mitigation plan. Now, this is, I believe we touched on this last year. It's just basically a process that we agree with the county and state's hazard mitigation plan. We have to sign up people to be the liaison for the plan, and it's really just there's not a whole lot of options to it. So we have to do it and to be eligible for certain grants and different programs. And so it was all in, it should be in everybody's packet. Any questions, concerns, or thoughts about the plan? Okay. Next topic was the municipal water pollution prevention plan. Again, another just rudimentary thing that they have to do every year. Todd's reviewed it all. Everything looks good, and so we would just be accepting the plan. Do you have any questions, concerns, or about it? Todd did a conference this week, so but he might be able to answer any questions if you have any. Hearing no questions, we'll move right along. All right. So the next topic is on the work addition to our regular city business, file room scanning service. So you all have a quote from NCCI in your packet, and essentially this service is twofold. They they can provide the software so that you can scan information into their solution, and then you can search it and index it and retrieve it pretty readily. And the second part of their solution is they will actually come out and take the documents and go scan them for you and put them in the system for you. Considering the amount of effort that we've been exuding into this file room, and come in, but I feel like it's a service that we need, and it would make everything a lot smoother with the city. Do you have any questions, concerns, or about this software? Laserfish is the name of the software. It's associated with Unicode. So, there are no comments or input. So we got the City Hall adjacent property. I have here. This doc got some quotes for the road repairs. Might not be so if you look at the attached quotes, the repairs to those roads, if we were to choose to repair all the roads right now, it would be roughly around $200,000, and so that's roughly what's being asked for that property. We don't have to repair all the roads right now, but if we chose to, the investment would be about equivalent to purchasing the property. Now, obviously, those repairs are depending on where it's parked. Would you like to add anything about these roads? Yeah.
One we have Jeffrey Wilson Drive, and we're going to Magnolia, making over the track way. They need repairing. So,
I believe at the last council meeting there were some concerns about the cost of the repairs versus the cost of the property. So.
What is the actual cost of the property?
The quote he gave me was either 200 or 220,000.
There's 2 lots, correct?
2.5. There's a weird third lot in there somewhere as well. This is a prime piece of real estate for the city, and as mentioned at the last meeting, we've got that grocery study that likes this land for a reversal, and the 2 lots together used to be made pretty easily into a rental flat spot for a up to 25,000 square foot grocery store. It is the kind of situation where multiple cities are competing right now for new chain that's coming to the school area and one or two other cities. And so, the idea if we were ready to move. Any other questions or concerns about the property and our group? Not hearing any more questions, we'll move on to the next topic, the water tower. You would? So there was some concern at the last meeting about the feasibility of that property for the water tower, but originally had to keep it, make a suggestion, and then we negotiate the quote based on his suggestion. So if you might have any questions, concerns, or about the property and need for the water tower there, Keith's here to answer.
Yes, sir. And I can start with a quick comment of kind of what our thought process was there. The number one thing that we have in that area is the elevation. Obviously, we want the higher that water reservoir is, the better hydraulically it would work. Also, your demand that we determined through the water capacity study was that about 90% of your water demand is in that area of Sterling Place and Brookhaven, and those areas are still growing. However, what we determined is we are looking at some other issues that can help us with some zoning of the system that we discussed in other meetings. I can go into those items as well. The other item that we had that was very good about this particular property is that a lot of our infrastructure is already there. The largest lines that we have in the city are in that area that feed that other tower. So ideally, we would be at about the same elevation as that other tower. It would eliminate the need for elevation valves and pumps, which helps hydraulically with your system. Certainly, the other tower was built there, so that certainly is possible to pad out an area and build that tank if we so desire.
Keith, I got a good question for you.
Okay.
If we built a tower, right, a water tower right there, we would be the only municipality that has two water towers within rock throwing distance. What kind of sense does that make?
Well, it makes sense in the way that 90% of the people using water are very close to there. Now we could move up and down that ridge and try to find you another location. We identified 3 or 4 different areas that could work. But as we get higher or lower with the elevation of our ground, our tank has to get higher in order to be exactly the same height. So when we do that, if I were to make that tank higher, then it's kind of a larger investment for that. I agree that it is a little unusual, but our growth pattern is very unusual as well. So there's nothing that says we can't. We could tear that tower down and build you a lot bigger one. Obviously, that's not a good economic choice. So, you know, there are some other areas that we can certainly consider, but we feel like for what needs you have, this is a pretty good spot.
So you don't see any other infrastructure upgrades that need to be done prior to doing that?
Well, we have identified some of those, and it goes into making some zones. We're not utilizing all the water from some of the other feeds coming from the other side of town.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is to locate some valves that we can then actually put a little more water in that tank. What we feel like that's going to do is buy some time. It's going to allow that water to be spread a little more evenly. Right now, I believe it's about 91% of all the water you use comes right down Sandy Road. The reason is that the other tanks are at an elevation that is lower, and if this tank were to fill up, it would push it back the wrong way from where you're trying to use it. So that water model is going to tell you those things, but I think what you're going to see is us put some valves in there that can be temporarily closed during long periods of time and allow that water to fill up in the tank you have. And that's the plan we've been working on for you.
Any more questions with the water tower? Thank you. All right. Not on the slide deck here, but then the next topic is the city clerk. See if you have any questions, comments, or discussion comments, or discussion topics about the city clerk position? Hearing none, we'll move into the public comment section of the meeting. So, up first, we have, Mr. Hutchins.
Thanks, Mayor. For easy. How long do I have to speak?
35 minutes. We don't have that many people sign up, so we're trying to be more flexible.
Okay. If you can allow me 5 minutes. I'm here. I appreciate you allowing me to come here to speak on behalf of my client, Margaret Concerned Citizens. I represent a group of concerned citizens, MCC. First heard about MCC back in March when we filed open records request to get information pertaining to financial records. And we did get a response. It was quite voluminous because the thing that we asked for most was 10 years of audits, and we received that. What we did not specifically request was bank records. We previously requested, receipts and payments and checks and things along those lines. We're here right now because we have a concern, the same concern that we had back in March the 2nd, which is the lack of transparency. It's been 196 days since Mayor Torrisi has come into office. And in that period of time, there have been numerous requests by citizens and council members for actual bank records. To our knowledge, Mayor Torrisi has failed or refused to provide actual bank records. So today, what MCC has done, we stand in the gap for the citizens, and we request actual bank records from the time that Mayor Torrisi went into office and began operating as a mayor of the city of Margaret. It's inexcusable not to provide bank records. When Mayor Torrisi was city councilman, he would accuse the previous city clerk of failing to provide records in terms of financial records. And when he did open records request for bank records, she provided them each time, and he would post them. Now, as we stand here today, we hear discussions about a water tower. It's absolutely critical that financials need to be addressed, because building a water tower is going to be very expensive. It could cost as much as $3 million to build a water tower. And my understanding is in the past, the advice was that the city of Margaret is going at a rapid rate to the point that it could potentially be a water crisis if a water tower is not built. People can dispute where the water tower needs to be built at, but right now, when there's no transparency, spreadsheets is not acceptable. QuickBooks is not acceptable. We need actual bank records. Mayor Torrisi came before the council on 3 occasions, brought forth a motion asking for a buyout at Springfield to pay for the contracts of the fire chief and an officer. 3 times he brought those motions forth. He did not tell the council that he had spent $28,435.24 without the council's approval. He spent the money despite the fact the council specifically said he was prohibited from doing so. That's not transparency, that's unauthorized spending, and it's illegal. So, with that being said, MCC is requesting other records, whether or not the city has paid for the Brookhaven project. Because we did a request on St. Clair County Commission. There was a representation by Mayor Torrisi back in 2024 that the St. Clair County Commission agreed to commit or contribute to that project. As you know, there was a grant that was applied for, and the council members, they approved for that grant application based on the representation that Mayor Torrisi made. However, I've talked to people in the community who've talked to county commissioners who said that no such representation was made. If that's the case, then that's a shortfall. And that leaves the city of Margaret having to pay for that project. When Meritorious receipt does not give the bank records, it causes the person to ask the question, did he pay for the Brookhaven project without the council consent, just as he did with the Springville project, Springville project, or Springville buyout? We have the records, and we disseminated it to the media. We're doing an open records request on LDOT for the 2024 Rebuild Alabama Act 2024 grant application. So I will end with this. Mayor Tortorisi, you were confronted by council members, and you admitted to paying the Springville buyouts without the authorization of the council. You never apologized. And by your own admission on March 2nd, you stated that over 33% of the budget had been paid in less than a 100-day period of time, $2.5 million. I will ask that you do what you asked the city to do when you're a council member. No one is doing or has done what you're doing now. Your spending is unprecedented, and there's a total, complete, inexcusable lack of accountability. Thank you.
So, Keith, would you mind addressing the Brookhaven conversation? There's some glad city engineers here because he helped put everything together, and he could speak to the county commission portion of it.
Yes, I'm happy to answer any questions, or I can give you kind of a summary or overview if you'd like.
Explain the county commission's matching process and the fact that we haven't actually given them the final bill yet to get the money back.
Yeah, so it was my understanding it was a verbal agreement that happened. I have spoken with the county engineer, and he was aware of it. He's asked us to provide a budget for that extra payment that would finish that portion off. And he said that it would be easier, in his opinion, to go ahead and do the work and then charge the county back for that, for lack of a better word. That was his words. But it certainly was apparent to me he was aware of it and directed us to do such.
Okay. And the, do you remember how much the original motion was to approve from the city?
I don't. I did jot down the total amount of contract, and I have the total amount of grant, if that would help you. I don't remember the exact motion from the city, although I was here and I remember when it was approved. I don't have the exact figure.
That's okay. Go ahead, give those numbers.
So the entire amount of the project was $542,000. The grant that you would receive from the RAA is $250,000, and then every dollar above that is what they call a match. So for every dollar that the grant would allow, the city would have to match $1 for $1. And that would allow for another portion of the grant up to $100,000 for a total of $350,000. If you were to utilize those full amounts, then the city would be required to pay that $100,000. That's what was approved in what I remember when we entered the contract to do that. The counties was above and beyond that to help in some way. Again, it was a verbal that I was understanding, but my personal experience is I spoke to the county engineer and he confirmed that.
And I sent the minutes from that meeting. The motion was to approve up to $250,000 from the city for this project. Have we met that threshold yet?
We have not quite met that threshold yet, according to my records. We are somewhere in the neighborhood of about the total today is 449,816.
Question for you. You got records, you say, right?
Yes, sir.
March 11th, I've asked and requested these records, and I've been met with negative responses and no responses, and there's no records that's been shared with the council. So how do you have the records, but the elected officials that control the funds in the city don't have any of those records?
I will have everyone here know that the records were sent to you, every transaction, every check, every transaction you have. So the information is in your mailbox.
No, sir. What I asked for on March 11th was every piece of documentation related to the Brookhaven grant project. That is every piece of documentation. That's when the grant was submitted, every paperwork that was signed, every paperwork that came from the state, everything with ALDOT, the whole thing. And you have not given the first bit of information. And when none of us, does anybody else here at this table have any of that documentation that he just cited to us? Anybody? Does anybody? Do you have it? Okay, so everyone here has just said that they don't have it. So how does he have it? But you're saying that you sent it to us. I'm just curious. I'm just trying to get a question answered here.
So you were on council when he presented all of this information to the council last October, I believe it was. And so, like, you were handed the documents by the city engineer. So you already have those documents.
No, sir.
And then every check that's been presented, written, and managed for the Brookhaven project has been presented to you. So you have, whether, you know, it may not be tied up as though, but you have all the information that you requested already.
Everybody here at this table just said they don't have it.
You requested it, not everyone at the table, and you already have it.
I'm telling you, we don't have it.
All right, I'm gonna pull up an email real quick.
I have a question. Are you saying that you made a payment for the Brookhaven project without the council voting on making the payment? There's a representation was that it's going to be matched by the city.
Yeah, this was a comment section.
That's right.
This isn't a question from the audience.
That's right.
I mean, you can answer the question.
The answer is simple. I sent you on Friday the motion where this council approved up to $250,000 on this project. So that money has already been approved and appropriated by the former council. So if you want to ignore the email that I sent you on Friday, immediately the same day you asked for the information, that's your choice. But you've been sent the information. Council approved up to $250,000. It's in the minutes. It's public record, and the money has been appropriated. All right. I'll look for this. We'll go ahead and call the next person up. Skylar. Scott.
Good evening. The first thing I have for you, this is a document from the Alabama League of Municipalities. It explains the speech involving government operations, public concerns, and public comment is all protected under the First Amendment. And it warns that retaliation, intimidation, or attempts to silence protected speech create legal and constitutional liability for council members, officials, or anyone acting under public authority. All right, I want to make something very clear tonight. Nobody has asked me to say any of this. These are my own concerns and my personal opinions. I stand before the council because I feel like no citizen should feel intimidated, discouraged, or threatened for exercising their constitutional right to speak publicly. Recently, I received a cease and desist letter from the city spotlight, Mr. Jonathan Ray, accusing me of defamation and demanding that I stop speaking publicly regarding concerns involving city leadership. Let me be clear, the concerns being discussed in this community are not social media gossip or made-up stories. They involve records, complaints, disciplinary matters, resignation letters, and statements that exist within the city of Margaret and individuals connected to city leadership. Some of these documents contain allegations and concerns regarding hostile conduct, bullying, degrading treatment of employees, abuse of authority, retaliation, and behavior that employees and officials believe harm around and professionalism within the city. Tonight, this issue is bigger than one disagreement or one person. It's about whether citizens of Margaret feel free to speak openly about concerns involving their government and without fear of retaliation or pressure. So I'm here to tell you, public office comes with scrutiny. There's nothing you can do about it. It comes with accountability. You can't do nothing about it. That's part of serving the people. If you can't handle it and get your feelings hurt, resign. We don't need soft individuals on this council. I'm tired of hearing y'all whine about social media posts as well. So tonight, I want to make my position clear. You will not silence me or any other citizens. I will continue exercising my First Amendment rights lawfully and respectfully. I will continue advocating for transparency and accountability within this community. I will continue speaking publicly about matters involving the city without being intimidated into silence. Thank you for the work that some of you are doing, and the others, it's time to step up. Here's your cease and desist letter as it means nothing to me or anybody in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Moving along, this is my email from January 27th to the council, and it has obviously a slew of financial reports, including check detail reports. In the check detail report, obviously, every check has been written from the city, and so that would be Massey. Apologies, I'm trying to get these contacts. It's a bit blurry. All right, so as you can see on the screen, here are the payments to Massey Asphalt Paving. Now, an email like this has been sent to council every month with all these check details and every transaction the city has taken. So you can see the payments for the project that the council approved in the previous fiscal year. And to clarify a point that was mentioned earlier, a large portion of the money that was spent in the first portion of the administration was paying for these previous, I call them holdover charges from the previous administration. You had a $230,000 pavilion. You had the almost $550,000 project that's going to cost the city a fraction of that. But all payments the council has gotten. You can see the invoice numbers, the pay requests, information about the transactions. And I mean, if there was a specific detail council wanted, like I sent the email, I could have gotten a reply. I did not. So like when people ask me for something they've already gotten,
Here's your email with your replies right here. You can hand them out to everybody?
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Responses and everything?
Sure. I posted them all on my website. I mean, I'm not, let's see. And then as far as the bank statements.
All information related to the county's $130,000 reimbursement portion for the Brookhaven Grant Project and timelines when information was received and how it was received and who by. You sent that to us? No. Copy of all invoices for all city departments from January 2025 to 3/11/26. You sent that to us?
No. You
No.
want to read my reply to you?
I got it. I got it all right here. Anybody else wants a copy when this meeting's over? You're more than welcome to have it all. You talk about transparency. Maybe you should talk about the lack of transparency. You're probably spot on.
I showed it up there. So from April 28th, this email was sent, and for those that aren't paying attention, we discussed this in great detail a couple of meetings ago. Been linked up to all of the bank statements. We've been uploading them to SharePoint and sharing them with council. And so inside this bank statements folder is all 28 of our bank accounts, and then probably a few extra with all the new Metro accounts. And inside each one of these folders is years and years, as many statements as we could download for each account. You know, some of the accounts are new, some of them don't have transactions since the money was moved to Metro, but council has all this. So, you know, the information is here, every transaction is there. And if there's, you know, in this email chain that was just previously referenced, I replied to say that, like, throwing hand grenades at our city employees to try to make them get busy work for hours and hours and days on end, it's not beneficial to the employees when you have all the information you need at hand. Like, these attacks on employees, it's unwarranted and unnecessary. And that's all of this. I mean, you know, when you see this list of requests that are just shotguns in order to try to attack people by overworking them when they've already got their day-to-day job to handle, and they're already under enough stress as it is, and they get attacked in open meetings, and then you send requests like this when you already received the majority of this information. So, like, anything that has not been received is nominal and or it's too time consuming, and he was told that we'd get to it when we got to it. We now have had multiple other requests come in on top of it, and you know, until we get something like this scanning system in place where we can quickly search and retrieve documents, we don't have a process in place to make this stuff easy. We've gone to a file room that is an absolute disaster, and has spent weeks and weeks cleaning it up, and still have multiple weeks to clean it up. Or we can hire somebody to come in and do it for us. I mean,
But you did hire some people. You hired an assistant city clerk, who you hired without our approval, and they.
Did you ask to talk? I was in the middle of talking.
They quit. That's right.
I was in the middle of talking. So again, we've got a tremendous amount of work, and we're in the process of working on it as we see fit. But if council wants something more rapidly, we can hire somebody to do it. But that's the simple truth of the matter.
Did you hire an assistant?
Like, if you please stop interrupting. So again, I've been sending regular information, regular updates, and if you have any questions, go out to my webpage. I post regular updates out there all the time. And so I mean, again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But the answer might be we'll get to it when we get to it, and that's what I sent him what I could and told him we'd get the rest when we had time to get to it. But so nothing is being hidden. It's just we have day-to-day operations that we have to maintain. So I believe next on the agenda, our next to speak was Kevin.
Mayor, council. Is this thing on? Tyler summed it up quite nicely. The one thing he didn't mention was the 1964 Supreme Court of the United States decision. You guys can look that up on your own. I'm not going to regurgitate that. I'm confused and quite disappointed in you, Jonathan. This is not the same man I first met last spring, had conversations with, prayed with, and watched Matt support to get reelected. I believe I'm an excellent reader of people, but I've never anticipated all of this in any way, shape, or form. I don't care the slightest what his personal grievance is with Matt Tortorici. The measure of a man's strength is shown by his maturity and ability to process rational thought in high-stress moments. What I witnessed is someone who consistently lacks the core ability to conduct himself like someone who takes this position seriously and cannot separate personal from business, with a near complete inability for self-control, once again on display tonight. As much as I dislike the fact that I have weak representation in my district by James Chapman, a man that seems to enjoy doing practically nothing when he actually decides to take part in council business, at least he has the common sense to know when to keep his mouth shut and follow the process. More about him later. Jonathan, on the other hand, seems to enjoy being disruptive and an obnoxiously loud contrarian every single chance he gets. I just wonder if he bothered looking in the mirror and evaluating the man he is today. I wonder if anyone in his personal circle has approached him to say, you gotta stop whatever it is that you're doing, no matter the reason you're doing it, because whatever contrived end game you think you're pursuing simply is not gonna happen the way you envision. You're not a martyr. You're not some town hero. You're not in charge. If you wanted to be mayor, you should have run for that seat. You're one of 5 council members. That's it, full stop. Each and every angry accusation he's flung again tonight is yet to include real evidence. The evidence of being loud, being disruptive, being competitive. The mayor's provided receipts. Samantha Davis has provided receipts. And it's my understanding that there are more on the pipeline, by the way. I'm not Matt's pal, by the way. I just happen to agree with and appreciate all the work that he's put in every single day to improve this town and coax it into the 21st century. And he's a better and more patient man than me. I'll say that. The city's record contradicts Jonathan Ray's aggressive and misguided allegations. Regardless, if you have a genuine gripe, take it up well outside the public eye. None of this posturing and bloviating needs to grab the attention of us citizens, nor the news media. It's not the right attention you might think you're getting. It's actually the direct opposite. Maybe feeling empowered by the small group of Matt haters enjoying watching Margaret burn, you need to take a huge step back and reevaluate yourself. Mondays at City Hall, not Jerry Springer. This is serious city business you're screwing with and blocking. If you're not careful, you're going to find yourself in very deep trouble legally and potentially criminally. That's not a joke. You have a sworn duty statutorily that you're failing to fulfill. And if you haven't learned anything else, you better recognize that our current mayor keeps receipts and keeps score and is not swayed by antics. Case in point, how he just responded yet again to another baseless attack. Jonathan, I ask that you set your personal vendettas aside and focus solely on the city's business. Give up whatever bizarre crusade you're on while you still can. It's not going to end the way you plan, I promise. Now back to my representative, James Chapman. Mr. Chapman, I do not appreciate your less than serious approach to city business. No showing to meetings, voting contrary to the city's needs just for the sake of argument, ignoring more than half of your district's needs. There are 1,000 of us in your district. Not nearly good enough. A good start. Dress better. That interview last week, you rolling in with tennis shoes, shorts, like you just didn't care. Unprofessional, reeks of apathy. At least bother to put on jeans and a collared shirt. You did that tonight, so I appreciate that. At a minimum, at least act like you care and you want to be there. Your dress for the city clerk interviews was embarrassing. Next, I tried reading the literature the mayor sends you before the meeting. Watching you thumb lazily through handouts like a kid that didn't bother to do the school assignment in the middle of the meetings is infuriating. Do just a little homework beforehand, maybe. Come prepared to do serious business and engage during a paltry couple of hours every other week that you volunteered and agreed to when you ran for the District 1 seat. Make your time matter, since outward appearances make it look like you considered an inconvenience to even be here. If you were my employee, I would have fired you immediately. By the way, I have zero tolerance for your lack of professionalism on display. But you enjoy, the benefits of being an elected official. Come and go and do what you want. You have the luxury and the blessing of service. Act like it. Be thankful you have a voice on the council, even if it's not mine by choice. Thank you.
So, Gary, you asked for the special meeting, but I don't know if you wanted.
Yeah, maybe that works out.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Gary Hammond, 1832 Summit Park Road, Oakville, Margaret, Alabama. I like to start my comments out with a little bit of throwback to a line from the song, so I'm going to change it up. Sung by the Righteous Brothers, 1964, one of the most iconically heard in the movie Top Gun. In the Officers Club, when Maverick steals a microphone to get the attention of his instructor, call sign Charlie. I point out the third verse of the classic song, "You've Lost That Loving Feeling." If you would only love me like you used to do, we had a love you don't find every day. So don't let it slip away. I look back at all the Facebook posts when you guys were inaugurated and running for office and sworn in. I see posts about the mayor and Councilman Ray going to the St. Clair County School Board to advocate for Margaret schools and a future junior high or middle school. I see posts again, the two of you, celebrating your certifications as municipal officers from the ALM. I attended both candidate forums in both Ridgefield and Brookhaven. I saw literally all 6 of you arm in arm singing Kumbaya. We can do better and we can work as a team. So we know at one time you were all in love with each other and we were in love with you. So let's see what we can do to fix that, all right? And I believe in praise when possible, so I want to point out a couple of great things. Our police department, it's entering a new level of community policing. You're using social media to put the word out. I know we're gonna see bigger and better things from Chief King and his department, and not every interaction with the police is a bad thing, and they're out there proving that every day. Yeah, they write tickets, and occasionally some people have butthurt, but that's not the way it's supposed to be, and they're doing the right thing. Our fire department, I'm amazed. ALS certification, filling authorized position, starting a volunteer pool. I hope I never have to use them, but I know that if the day comes that I have to pick up a phone, Chief Thomas and the Margaret Fire Department are gonna answer that call. But we also know, as we discussed this evening, the city needs some decisions on a new engine and potentially a new fire station. Let's show our gratitude to them by responsible government and keeping our citizens safe. Let's get this done expeditiously, without the bickering and without the posturing. And I'll say it again for the folks in the back. Get it done quickly. It will be 12 to 18 months to get an apparatus, at which time we are walking a fence line. We could fall either way, and it's not gonna be good if something happens, all right? Public Works, Todd has worked hard, all right? Got a department with missing tools and vehicles held together with duct tape and baling wire. Now he's getting a complete modernization of the department. I see the sewer and water department are buying variable frequency drives. They're stepping into the 20th century. So last, the mayor. Modernizing a back office operation is tough when it's working. It's even tougher when it's not. And the evidence shows it wasn't. And if anybody wants the evidence, go look in the back room, take a tour. That's not the way you run a back office. 25 separate checking accounts, a lack of centralized accounting, no auditable system. And what that meant to us as taxpayers, no auditable system, we had to step out of accepting grants because we didn't have a system that complied with the grantees' accounting requirements. That's unacceptable. That was free money that we put on the floor, poured some gas, and we danced around it while it burned. As you all know, I made a public records request on Saturday, May 2nd, 2026. It was personally delivered to the 6 of you, all of the members of the chamber, including the clerk and the city attorney. The 14 days to answer that expired today. I've yet to receive one record. I have gotten messages from a city council member offering me the opportunity to meet and collect their data, and I thank them for that. And I replied to them that is a city function and it needs to come from the city. So the question is, using another throwback, where's the beef? I haven't seen anything. And that brings me to the second concern, and that's your responsibilities, all of you as elected officials, follow policies and procedures for the safe and responsible use of IT equipment. There are situations like my records request, which, had we been using city IT systems, city phones, could have been fulfilled very quickly. Instead, it's not. All right? The other issue is that you potentially have confidential or personal information that you come across in the business of city councilors on your personal devices. I find that unacceptable. Aside from the risk of that, it's a quandary. We bought everybody a laptop and a phone, or a tablet and a phone for city business. And I've learned that not everyone's using them. Is that true, sir? Who's not using them? And why not? Second device is not carrying fun, right? I have to carry 2 of them. It sucks, but I have to carry 2 of them because I won't crap where I eat. And you shouldn't either, because what that's done is it's going to expose your personal cell phones, your personal laptops, all your personal social media, your email accounts, browsing history, and text messages. We're going to look at all of them because we have to, because you conducted city business personal assets. If you're anything like me, I have a lot of personal texts and emails that I've sent that I would not really want in a public domain. But they're going to end up there because we decided to do that. Right? So going forward, after this meeting, I'd ask anybody who doesn't have a city phone and a city tablet to see the mayor and get it. So the bad news, you don't have any choice to comply with this. All right? We can do it willingly, or in another 14 days, my escalation point becomes the Attorney General's office. And they'll conduct the e-discovery, and they'll hand them to me because they have to. And I also say, Counselor, you can do the same. Alabama's law is clear on your duties as well as the city's obligation to respond to the request. And it could have been appointed, it could have been easily fulfilled without a lot of gnashing of teeth and fighting by the push of a couple of mouse clicks to get that. But we can't because we don't have everything consolidated under a city IT system. So now, 14 more days, that deadline will expire on Monday, June 1st. And I'm going to tell you, you're running out of runway, and the law's not going to be your friend on this one. I'll close with some modern words from the group Paramore. Haley Williams sings a song called Time, March 2023. She said, coulda, woulda, shoulda, wouldn't matter. the ultimate alibi, you know it's a lie. Intentions only get you so far. It was on my list, I meant to get it, a harsh reality to discover, but I'm always running out of time. You're on the clock, ladies and gentlemen, and you're running out of runway.
Mr. Paul? You have,
Now you asked my question.
okay. All right. Joe?
I was just gonna ask about animal control, Margaret. We do have a lot of strays, and I do what I can, and I take them to these, I do what I can. And, but there's just, we need help.
Yeah, it's a tough issue because Hill City used to help handle it. They obviously, very rarely have community societies taking over the shelter itself. But then the county has one gentleman who does help come pick up the.
Josh, yes.
Yeah, but he's obviously one person in a big county. I wish I had a good answer for you, but I just don't. I mean, I talked about several things when we were campaigning. I think you and I talked about it in a pretty good amount of depth too, like finding places for dog parks and other facilities for the pets as well. But I don't have a good answer right now for you. But now you've been taking them up there.
Oh, I take strays to Ranchville, I pay to get them checked, to see if they are owned, and then I get them whatever I can, then I take them to the shelter in Hill City, and then they get adopted fast because I've already done so much for them. We're trying, everyone's trying in our neighborhood, but it's just the idea. I just would be able to call Josh to come pick up the animals, and now I can't.
Oh, you should still be able to. Well,
is there a contract now?
Well, so Josh should, it may not be Josh, but they should still pick them up, but the Humane Society runs the shelter. So that they can, the county, Paul,
It is.
Yeah, so Joshua County can still come, but again, one person, big county, but so he'll come and pick them up, but then the Greater Birmingham actually runs the shelter. So same service, just different person monitoring and paying bills at the shelter. So that service still exists, just a matter of it being short
So
staffed.
just call the police department and ask for animal control, or?
Yeah, I call the non-emergency number, so 629-3333, and or would be the county would be better.
You can call yourself.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And also now because they're under contract with us.
Oh, they are, that's great.
Yeah, so the city actually pays for them to come pick up that. So if you call them.
Okay, all right, well, I appreciate it.
One question, you used to take them to Branchville,
I took there to get the chip that were owned by somebody.
do they, like some shelters have really good rates for like when you're trying to do good deeds. Does Branchville and our, no, okay. I'll reach out to a couple of the ones around to see if we can find anything on the
That'd be
post.
great. It
Because,
cost me $600 for 2 little labs to be there in our neighborhood.
yeah. Well, they're usually services, but they're not always similar to Josh. It may not be, good time.
The county will scan those animals when they get there.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all very much.
Vaccinate them by the doctor.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so that is the end of our public comment section. So we'll adjourn this work session and take a short break and then reconvene for a regular meeting and say at 7:15.
Sorry, y'all were loud enough. They could still hear you. Bless you.
I have something else I need to prepare for this. I have a massive information. We've been and split you. Well, I still have to think about myself because I'm dyslexic.
So they, and this is just for their okay, so yeah, like what is Which I'm feeling it, and I'm thinking that it's not. You don't want to. So that's what I'm figuring out, but it's just.
All right, everyone. Go ahead and give everybody a chance to get back up here and then we'll get going.
But not too short to see if we can.
You know how to get on there when you get somebody to download
Yeah, but if you contact the council person from the personal phone, you request that too. So, well, especially when we talk about bringing an out person in to help download everything.
get out for lunch. You have everybody in mind to do it.
Police department, that's right.
Let's get them.
Yeah, this is one thing today. I don't know we're working on it, but then I got to fill on, but I think
How are you, man?
Whatever it was, one said that we could all copy it.
Yeah, all right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call the regular meeting of Margaret City Council to order. Today is Monday, May 18th. It is 7:18, and we're meeting here at Margaret City Hall. So, Mr. Parker, if you would, open this up in the prayer.
Continue to lift up our nation and our city too, especially the President Trump, his cabinet, his advisor, this mayor, and this council. pray that you give them wisdom and direction and where you have us go, where the city become better and a place to live and to work. Rest in Christ's name.
Now, you may stand for the pledge. Future, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Clerk, if you roll call roll.
Councilperson Chapman?
Here.
Councilperson Bell? Councilperson McIntyre?
Here.
Councilperson Davis?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
Here.
Mayor Federici?
Here. All right. Record reflecting that quorum is present, and I'd like to remind everybody about the quorum and the sergeant at arms is due tonight. So first, we're going to discuss the consent agenda, and so again, the consent agenda includes the approval of the minutes, increasing the pavilion rental to $100, and resolutions 2026-05-18A, the hazard mitigation plan, resolution 2026-05-18B, the municipal water pollution prevention. Council, does anybody wish to make a motion for this consent agenda or remove any items from this consent agenda for separate discussion?
Make the motion to approve.
Councilwoman Samantha Davis makes a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Bell seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Councilperson Chapman?
Yep.
Councilperson Bell?
Yes.
Councilperson McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilperson Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
Aye.
Mayor Federici?
Yes. All right, motion passes. All right. The next item on the agenda is the file scanning, scanning the laserfish quote, or yeah, the NCCI quote. Does anybody have a motion to make about this software and quote? All right. Again, this quote was consisted of two parts. One was the scanning of all of our existing records. The other was just the annual recurring cost of storing the records and having them searchable. So the purpose of this was to make all of our records more easily readable, more easily and readily accessible for the public. So at this time, if I don't hear any motions,
What was the price? I don't have a problem. Martrice, I think it's almost, it says the recurring annual. Yes, ma'am.
roughly 15,000 recurring and another 15 for the coming in and scanning all the documents and issue reports. So just shy of everything.
And it's just a one-time thing, like once it's done, or?
The second 15 is a one-time, once it's scanned, and we can keep it up and we can scan into it going forward. But the other 15 is a recurring. And essentially, when someone submits an information request or something, we can run into a search and print stuff off and have it ready pretty quickly compared to having to go through and manually find it and hope it's labeled properly.
Is the yield $15,000?
It is.
Is this the only quote we have for this?
This is the only quote for this solution. Yes, this was a little bit bigger, but I mean, if you'd like, we could try to get a few more quotes.
Or is this, instead of having it being the recurring and or having to have them do it like this 15,000, is this not something that once it's in place that I'm not sure who, assistant, whomever would fall in that, would they not be able to keep up with it so that it's still accessible the same way, or no?
So the second 15 is just a one-time charge
Right.
for the work, but after that, it's still, that's just the cost of the software. I mentioned community code earlier, because community code is very similar. It's 10 or 15 a year for maintaining your building codes, your work code, and so, but we can get glad to see more quotes.
A couple more quotes before we decide on this one.
Okay. We'll get a few more quotes on that. Let's see if I have any other suggestions. All right. Now, we'll move on to resolution 2026-0401, the City Hall adjacent property. The motion about the resolution 2026-0401. It's basically a contract to exchange. This is the accepting those for the exchange of the property. And so the quote that you got, the road repairs, and again, they're not all necessary now, but the Jefferson Drive is one that probably needs to be done. Here, just so you, like, there's also the charge of the asphalt on top of the quotes there. They break it out separately, it's a little bit confusing, but it's roughly what you see in there. We've got that much more for the asphalt. That's why the quotes are at 100,000, and then with that asphalt, just shot it. Looking to see it.
So it's 90, let's see, I had it right down right here. 93,000, I think.
Roughly 93,000.
Then plus the asphalt.
Plus the asphalt.
And you said the property value is roughly 220?
Yeah, and now, keep in mind also that we don't have to do them all now. And there's, I believe, 2 of them are probably in pretty good need, but the rest we can stretch out for a few years and work into our annual road repair program. Just wanted to present all of them and what they look like. For a motion or a motion to table?
I will do a motion to table.
I'll second that.
Are we tabling it or are we postponing it? With tabling, we have to do it back at this meeting. Postponing, we can set it to a later date.
However y'all want to do it. It's good enough for me.
We can do postpone for a later date. Or first meeting in June.
Councilman Bell had a motion to postpone to the first meeting in June. Councilman McIntyre made a second motion. Any discussion? All right. Roll call.
Councilperson Chapman?
Yeah.
Councilperson Bell?
Yes.
Councilperson McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilperson Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
Yeah.
Mayor Parise?
Yes. Next on the agenda is the resolution 2026-0402, water tower property. This was to point the negotiation for water taps for the property in around 9 acres. And for a motion to just complete the negotiated contract for these 2 water taps. These 2 water taps for the acquisition of about 9 acres.
I'll make the motion.
Councilwoman Smith Davis makes the motion to resolution 2026-0402. Do I have a second?
How many water taps is it?
I believe 52. Roughly 95,000 in estimated value, but at the end of the day, I will also get those as water customers, and so they'll be recurring revenue. 9 acres, what would you say, estimated value of the property?
It's on side of the bluff. Ain't nobody, you ain't building on there.
No, not for building, I would agree with that, but you do have some infrastructure there that you get some house lights out of there, but I think you could do a public works building or something, but, there is some areas that are too steep. But you've got power and water running down there as well, which is a value in itself.
Up to 9 acres, there are four lots platted for homes, and then an additional 7 acres on top of those 4 lots.
So 4 acres on lot, 4 lots.
Well, four lots, about half an acre each.
You ain't building nothing on the rest of it.
The,
52 water taps, big,
$95,000.
$100,000.
No cash out of pocket.
And this is gonna be a need, I mean, eventually this is a need we're facing.
Yeah, it's not option. So, okay, so we have a motion on the table within 4 seconds. Here in a second, I'll go ahead and second the motion. Make a Richie seconds the motion. I have one second. All right, roll call vote.
Councilperson Chapman?
Oh.
Councilperson Bell?
No.
Councilperson McIntyre?
No.
Councilperson Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
No.
Mayor Lewis?
Yes. Okay, motion passes. All right. Next up is, the, city clerk. So this is a topic involving a city position, and let's keep it, professional, factual, and job related. So, let's see what you might have any motions on.
We'll make one business session about this,
So, it's my understanding, and call correct me if I'm wrong, if you're discussing someone who has to file a statement of economic interest, it has to be discussed publicly. Unless, is there any exception to that?
I think that that's something that we would need to discuss in the executive session.
So, the modification to the agenda, so, looking for a motion to suspend the rules to, request this, an executive session.
make a motion to suspend the rules.
So, what do we?
I was wondering that.
Executive session.
Speak about city clerk position.
Councilman Bell makes a motion to go through our suspend the rules to, that's the motion, and Councilman McIntyre seconds the motion.
And the reason why we're taking potential litigation.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilperson Chapman?
Yeah.
Councilperson Bell?
Yes.
Councilperson McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilperson Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
Yeah.
Mayor Lewis?
All right, motion to suspend the rules passed. So we'll, now entertain a motion to enter executive session.
Make a motion.
Second.
Councilman Davis makes a motion to enter executive session, and, Councilman McIntyre seconds, any discussion? All right, roll call vote.
Councilperson Chapman?
Yeah.
Councilperson Bell?
Yes.
Councilperson McIntyre?
Yes.
Councilperson Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
Yeah.
Mayor Lewis?
All right, we'll enter executive session,
Be back 10 minutes.
10 minutes. We'll return at 7:40.
He's fine.
Alright, this is called back session a little bit early. Returning from executive session at, it's called 7:40. Looking for a motion on the, topic at hand.
I'll make the motion to post the city clerk on Indeed with the job descriptions. Let's see what,
How long?
14 days.
Samantha Davis makes a motion to repost the job on Indeed with the new job descriptions that we passed, 14 days. Looking for a second. We have a second. All right, hearing no second, I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Councilperson Chapman?
No.
Councilperson Bell?
Yes.
Councilperson McIntyre?
No.
Councilperson Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
No.
Mayor Torres?
Yes. All right, motion dies with the time. Do we, still have another motion, or are we ready for adjournment? All right. Carrie, you know, the motion, looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Councilman Davis makes a motion to adjourn. Councilman Bell seconds it. Roll call.
Councilperson Chapman?
Yeah.
Councilperson Bell? Councilperson Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
No.
Mayor Torres?
What was that?
Yes, I heard was 5 yeses and a no, unless I got it wrong, sorry, it got loud.
Retake the vote.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Retake the vote.
Councilperson Chapman?
No.
Councilperson Bell?
Yes.
Councilperson McIntyre?
No.
Councilperson Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ray?
No.
Mayor Torres?
Yes. Motion to adjourn done.
So, we're going to do something.
All right, well, motion to adjourn done. Unique situations. How do you advise?
I guess, 3 people that voted yes can get up and walk out, and we don't have a quorum. There you go.
I did not think of that.
Getting the dedicated timeline for both work and serving place. I know it's going to be a pain because we're older in the area. I don't know what our right of way looks like. Put that in our right of way property.
Yeah, there's still a pool.
Okay, yeah, I know. I do and I definitely that type of work specifically before. So it's not something that I got to give to see how much it would be. I can't tell you exactly how much it would be, because obviously contractors are coming and do what they do. Yeah, I think Friday afternoon is better, because I got graduation Saturday in Mississippi, so I got to drive. But anytime after about 5:30 is usually when I get home with my kids.